And it is a complicated network threatening the future of hundreds of school-going children in Mau Narok, Nakuru County. It's a complex web of perpetrators, landowners, brokers, and even guardians. After months of in-depth investigation, Citizen TV unearths an intricate syndicate that has seen children below the age of 16 engage in crop harvesting in Mau Narok instead of going to school. Tonight on #ChildSlaves, Maryanne Nyambura tells you about the syndicate that has been going on for decades now, with sensitization forums held in the past bearing little fruit.
Mau Narok town is about 54 kilometers from Nakuru town. It is best known for the favorable weather conditions that make it possible for farmers to plant all year long. But this comes at a cost. During the harvesting season, school-going children head out to the farms to harvest various crops that do well here, including cabbage, carrots, potatoes, and peas. It is a normal phenomenon here. But after months of investigations, our reporting unearthed the worrying trend that sometimes saw children out of school for months on end as they worked the farms.
What child labor does is to give that child immediate gratification in way of a day's job, but eventually that child will drop out in standard 4, standard 5, form 2, form 3, and they will never be able to stand on their feet. But we have a very unique situation in Mau Narok. The community has almost taken it to be almost normal. So also the role models in education are fewer in such communities. So even as you tell these people the value of education, maybe they do not see it in the immediate environment.
The journey from Nakuru town to Mau Narok begins at 4 a.m. as we set off to the farms. At around 6 a.m. as the sun begins to rise, we see a handful of children with their school uniforms and backpacks. Some are walking in groups of 3s or 2s, but the picture is different in the town center known as Mwisho wa Lami. By 7 a.m. the town is a beehive of activity. Fleet of vehicles lined up to transport casual laborers to the farms. Some vehicles offloading sacks of produce. Young children wander here, waiting for their counterparts. 30 minutes later, their vehicles are full. One by one, the lorries head out. Their destination, the farms. On this day, this matatu was used to ferry the children. So we followed behind, keeping a distance to avoid raising suspicion. At some point, the children would alight the matatu and board a lorry. Here, they find others already on board. It takes us close to 3 hours to get to the farms. The roads are in poor state. Some are almost impassable. The driver is unable to maneuver the terrain, so the children are forced to alight and walk the rest of the distance. We count about 50 children dashing out of the lorry. Most of them are boys. During the rainy season, the roads are rendered impassable. The casual laborers tell us walking to the farms is a norm, which takes 1.5 hours. Once they access the farms, the laborers embark on their daily duties. Here, we see dozens of children picking the produce and placing them in sacks next to them. Today, they appear to be harvesting peas. The children, both boys and girls, seem to be between the age of 9 to 12 years old. Some of them could be younger. The guardians tell us that the children harvest the produce faster than them, hence they prefer sourcing their services.
So kwa siku yanaweza toka
hata 500 wanatoa.
Hizo ni kilo ngapi?
They harvest the produce the whole day, bracing the scorching sun and going most of the day without food. By 6 p.m. the laborers collect their pay and off they go home until the following day. The amount of produce they harvest determines their pay. This is their daily routine.
6:30 ndio watoto wanaenda kwa manjugu. Kuingia hapa huwa wanaingia masaa ya jioni, wanaingia kitu masaa ya saa 3 hivi, saa 2 hadi saa 4.
This has been going on for decades now. Locals and area leaders here admit that there is a problem that needs intervention before it becomes worse, leaving an entire generation here uneducated. The area has one public school, Ngwataniro Primary. Our sources here tell us that many pupils go missing during the harvesting season and reappear once the season is over.
Mwingine ukiuliza mtoto kwa nini uendagi shule, mwingine akwambia mzazi hajawahi nipeleka shule.
Na hata sisi na viongozi tushikane pamoja na tuhakikishe wazazi wamejua kwanza maana kwa nini tunatamani watoto waende shule.
Mimi ni buruka na ingiaga hiyo magari, zingine unakuta watoto ni wadogo ambao wanastahili kuwa shule. Na sasa shida sio matajiri wenye wanawaajiri kwa mashamba, sababu ni wenye wanawapelekea watoto.
The vast tracts of land are leased to farmers who employ the laborers, with the owners remaining unknown. Many here blame the local government for not putting in place enough measures to curtail child labor and enforce labor laws. The governor admits that the problem exists.
It's a complicated web. If a kid could have 3,000 in the pocket and the others are busy at schools, the other ones in school almost feel cheated. For the parents, the responsibility to ensure a child is in school is the responsibility of the parent. Law enforcement must take its course.
Hapa shule yenye tuko nayo ya serikali ni shule moja tu. Watoto ni wengi. Kwa hivyo hata inawezekana mtoto asiende shule, mwalimu asijue kwa sababu na watoto wengi kwa madarasa.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutakuwa na msururo wa mikutano na viongozi wa matabaka mbalimbali, wakiwemo pia wakulima, wale matajiri ambao wanawaajiri hawa watoto, ili kuwahamasisha kuhusu sheria ya watoto.
The guardians, however, declined to speak to us on camera for fear of being implicated. After a long day of harvesting, the children take home just 5 shillings for every kilogram of peas, potatoes and carrots. The International Labour Organization estimates that 218 million children across the world miss school on a daily basis for having been sent to work on farms and doing other menial jobs. Maryanne Nyambura, Citizen TV, Mau Narok, Nakuru County.